Hi everyone, thanks for having us. So I'm Shivani and I'm going to lead the panel. Before discussing, I just wanted to set some context about Martech and CX maturity. So in current landscape where there's a lot of complexity of data and there's a lot of complications around different data silos, most of the marketing teams struggle with how to optimize for customer experiences. And customers are all wanting personalized experiences, but at the same point of time, the data that we have as our ecosystems is not in the same way. We do not have unified user views, we do not have personalized segmentation. So with that, I wanted to just start with a very generic question to also lay the groundwork. And the question is, why do we need CX maturity and what does it mean for your organizations? I think we can start with Gandharv.
It's really great the context that you set up. So yes, when it comes to CX maturity, and we talk about my organization hybrid, we actually look at the hyper personalization, wherein we say that let's reach the right customer at the right time, and so the kind of we were just listening to a lot of campaigns that were going on. So we work in the very contextual environment wherein we reach the right audience at the right time. So if I talk about my tool personally, my tool would look into the complete article and the images, and then we go ahead and do the campaigns as well. And along with that, contextual is the keyword today. So yes, there are a lot of cohort advertisings that has happened and we've been doing, and like in the previous panel that we were listening about it. So the keyword today comes as contextual. So that is where CX maturity, and it helps us to align the right data and see that what the right user is needing. Along with our tool, we can actually go ahead and target the user at a later stage as well. Once he's gone ahead and seen the ad and he's left the site, and if he comes back within a span of 15 days, then yes, that's a user counted for us as well.
So we'll come back to the details, but I would like to know from each one of you, like, what does CX maturity mean for your organizations or your clients?
So in every organization, right, there are 4 stages for CX maturity. One is when you start in your organization, then you're very reactive to a lot of scenarios. Then you reach a stage where you manage their reactions. A reaction comes and then you manage the reaction well. And then third stage is you optimize a reaction. You know what is expected to come and how you need to probably proactively manage the scenario. And the last is innovation. Innovation is all about, if I have to give you a small example, right? A person buys a product, there is an issue which happens, he calls the customer care and that is being managed. So which is reactive way of managing a particular scenario. The second stage is, okay, you know that there are certain scenarios that comes in an organization and it comes to you, so you know an SOP, you know the process and you know how to manage the scenario. So that is managed kind of a vertical. That's the second stage. The third stage is optimization, which means that you know, okay, Priya is going to buy a product. So when she browses for a particular product, the product comes on the top list. That is all about optimization. You know what Priya wants, Priya likes, and then you get to the optimization. The last stage is, you know that she's probably not purchased the product for the last 2 months, and she's expected to be a repeat buyer every 2 months once. That's when innovation comes into place, which means that you actually read the customer's mind, get involved with their habit, get involved with their preferences, and then you innovate that thought into the intelligence in your system, and then you capture that intelligence so as to protect your buyer base and increase your repeat base. So that's the last stage. So according to me, every organization goes through these 4 stages, and every organization should look for the 4th stage as a CX maturity stage.
Thank you so much. I think that's a very great explanation. So at Incibit, what has been your experience working with clients on this?
So I think Priya, put it very beautifully, right? Obviously, we are service partner and product partner for a lot of companies. So I would say for us, CX maturity is as good as our clients, right? I can't say that my client is at level 2 or level 1 and we are at level 4. Having said that, like she said, they are like, in our terms, we are also considering 4 maturity level. But in terms of CX, right? CX is a very broad word, right? A lot of time people only focus on the customers when they land on their website or land on their showrooms, right? But the CX starts off-site, right? When they are viewing your ad, right? A lot of time company focus on the acquisition, right? But what about before acquisition, brand awareness, and also at the time of retention as well? Okay, so if I have to define CX maturity, I would say first is very nascent, right? Where you have tools like she mentioned, it's a very reactive approach. Then is sort of data driven. You have bought some analytics, but you are not driving the insights. Third, I would say connected. You have connected your systems. You have created the single view of customer, right? You are able to generate the insights. And the fourth is where you are actually creating the use cases based on that data, right? Because you may have the data, but you need to leverage that data, right? The single view customer need to be there as well. Now, in terms of Incipit, like I said, it is as good as our client. But having that said, we are continuously evolving and investing in the products which elevate the experiences of the customers of our clients. For example, like we mentioned about INSEE Score, which help you understand the real-time behavior of a consumer on your website, right? And then we have also created Orla AI, right? Which basically help you connect to the users in real time in multilingual language and in a very human-centric approach. I mean, I've given some demos for the folks, but that's how CX maturity looks to us. But I think we also need to focus on the ad side as well, which is yet to touch upon.
Okay, we'll come back to it. Varun, what's your view?
Yeah, so I'm part of No Broker. So we are a one-stop shop real estate platform. When I say one-stop shop, we cater to everything related to your home hunting, whether you want to find a house or for a rental or buy sell. And we also take care of the home services part of the journey. Now, in that, I think for us, what it means, CX maturity, what it means is that we split it in three parts. One is the pre-onboarding that largely happens on our platform. During the service, which is an offline experience, and post-service. Now, in all three, the first CX maturity is going to be how seamless the experience is on the platform. I think that's where the customer experience lies. During is obviously the offline part, which we try to improve by either training or by developing in-house tools for the personnel who's on the ground. And post would be in case some glitches happen, how are we taking care of that? Like, for example, because we have so many verticals, there are different contact numbers or contact centers for each vertical. Now, earlier the case was that it was in silos. Now we are moving towards having that single window view, as Saurav mentioned. Whether a person who's handling packers and movers, if that person gets a call from, let's say, somebody who's talking about cleaning, will that person be able to answer it? The CRM that we have built in-house is designed in such a way that now we are creating capability that any agent can talk about the service that is being taken by the customer. And that ensures the single window view of the customer and the seamless experience for user also. So I would say these three.
I think with this only I would like to pivot to individual questions. So No Broker has disrupted a lot in the real estate and tech space of real tech. So what is your Martech enabler? And considering I think No Broker has multiple consumer use cases, so how do you really unify the customer journey? And in this journey, what have been your major roadblocks?
So I'll start with the market enabler or the Martech enablement that we did with the kind of stack we have. No Broker, when we started, we were the first, we were the pioneers who had 0 brokers on the platform. The earlier experience that on the PropTech front that people had was mostly with brokers or friends and family. Now, that made us enforce or ensure that none of the brokers are coming on the platform. That we could do with predictive analytics. So before AI became the buzzword in 2015 when we started, we were actually utilizing some form of AI to segregate users whether this person is broker or genuine user. So that was the starting point. And what was at the foundation of it was predictive analytics. And that became a weapon for us for a lot of other things. Like for example, when we scaled our real estate vertical and eventually got into home services also, it helped us identify users who are more probable of opting for certain services.
And this predictive analytics is in-house or
This is
using a
in-house.
tool?
Yeah.
In-house.
So and it has evolved over the period of time, and now it has become much more powerful to the extent that now we have certain AI solutions which we have built in-house and we are now outsourcing to enterprise also. So that level of maturity we have been able to get. But I think what has helped us is predictive analytics in terms of Martech stack. And again, I mean, that fuels a lot of things. Predictive analytics will fuel our CRM automation software. It will fuel our paid media that is going out on Google and Meta. But the foundation is predictive analytics and segmentation of users. That's one. Now, if I talk about roadblock, I think the biggest roadblock that we felt was that 2015 nobody was paying for digital services in India. Swiggy, Zomato were in nascent stages; they were not charging for deliveries. Spotify was again nascent stage. OTTs were just coming in. So earlier experience the user had was that they were getting free contacts from the earlier real estate portals. Although all the contacts were of brokers and were of not so much useful, but they were getting those contacts. So convincing users that you have to pay for a digital contact of owner was kind of a challenge for us at that point of time. But then over the period of time, when people realized that it's a freemium model, so you get 9 free owner contacts, and then you have to spend either 1499 to 10,000 depending on the service level that you want. It's always better to spend, let's say, 2,000 than spending 40,000 on brokerage. When people realized that, then that flywheel kicked in and people were okay paying for those services. But initial period of initial cycle of those users of convincing them to pay for digital services, I would say was a friction point, not a roadblock, friction point that we had to overcome.
And did you use anything specifically in building internal Martech to solve this subscription success?
In terms of Martech, I think, like I mentioned, the predictive analytics came handy. We knew that which city is responding better, which target, which rent range is performing better, which devices are performing better. So we started with that. And then now we have matured enough that the system automatically throws up the cohort which we can directly use.
Thank you for sharing that. I think with building AI solutions, Gandharv is also in the space. I want to hear from you. Like in the space of contextual targeting, as we were speaking for performance marketing, what are the Martech challenges that you see specifically your clients facing while dealing with this?
So what we see, the clients that are facing performance marketing, as we talk about, or branding, it's become a lot of data driven. And as we see the third party cookies are going out, so we're looking at the first party data and everything. Along with that, the kind of usages that are happening in the contextual environment today, we see that brands are actually going towards that, wherein they want the right audience to be served. So when it comes to the right audience to be served at the right time, this is where we as an ad tech company comes into picture, and we say that, okay, fine, we will share your ads and everything to the right people. Like we're just talking right now for no broker, if we talk about. So we have those capabilities where we can target the audience who's actually looking and reading more about properties, might be rental, might be selling a property, and we can actually go ahead and utilize that data. So yes, we do not work on the third party cookies as well. We have our own tool which is there, wherein we do in image, and that is where it helps us to target the right user. So yes, we can actually help the brands to reach to the right audience with a lot of help from
That's
our
a great plugin. I just want to know more as a loyalist of BlueSmart. I won't reach anywhere in Bangalore specifically if I won't use. So Priya, I would love to know, like for a service-centric brand like BlueSmart, how do you balance tech adoption with operational complexity and still deliver on the CX that we love?
I think it's all about a concept called as RAT, which I have developed it for myself. You know, I call it as a RAT concept because it's very easy to remember. And one is R stands for reliability. Okay, A stands for availability, and T stands for transparency. Now, if you don't have a combination of all these three things in any organization, right, then obviously your experience goes for a toss and you can't really do cost optimization. Now, when we talk of operational challenges with tech combat, then of course, all these three aspects, whatever I spoke about, has to be induced as a part of your combination of tech plus operations also. For example, I can give you, a couple of examples which are very simple and which will resonate in your real life. So let's assume that you're on a Ola and Uber. How many people take Ola, Uber? Everybody, all of us take, yeah. So we are going in the cab and the driver partner is drunk, and one of your family members is sitting there in the car, and then the person wants to press an SOS button. Now, when the SOS button is not integrated with, if a tech component is not built in, and your technology cannot give you that insight that there is an SOS button or red alert which is clicked, then what happens? Then the safety of your family members is at key stake, right? So how many of us want that red button to be placed in the car? And how many of us really want that equipment to be working fine? All of us, isn't it? So I think this is something what we've created in BlueSmart. And every single every single click, there is an alert which goes. Of course, the alert has multiple dimensions, like, whether there is a rider inside the car, yes or no, or is it just a wiring issue, or if the person has pressed the SOS button, then there is a notification that goes to the customer saying that, are you inside the car and are you safe? If the customer says, no, I'm not safe, then it doesn't lead to a conversation with an agent. It just says that, hey, we are just calling you in the next two seconds. And the customer is pretty convinced that, okay, he's going to get a call and he's safe. And there are multiple options given in the application also, that do you want to reach the police? Do you want to stop the ride? Or do you want a call from an agent? Or do you want to chat with an agent? We have multiple conversations options what we have given. So this is why are we doing this? We are doing this to bring in operational efficiency with a tech combat for what? For safety. And this is the kind of reliability what we are giving back to customers. This is one such example which is very critical, right, for all of us, and all of us know that it is very, very important feature what we need. So I feel apart from the RAT concept, I think integration is very important. You need to assimilate all customer information at one place. I think that is something which we have spoken quite a lot the entire day. I'm sure data is something what all of us have spoken in all the forums, all the panels for the last whatever hours now. So I think that is one thing which is important. Second, information is transparency in information is very, very important. If an agent is talking to a customer and the customer is calling you multiple times, the agent should know how to talk to a customer, or the marketing campaign should know which customer to target in giving a specific ad or giving a specific promotional activity. I'll give you one very, very simple, very, very raw example. Examples make more meaning is what I feel. We wanted to create a pet project. And generally all cab industries, aggregators provide pet rides, right? So what is the insightful data is, out of your database what you have, how many customers do really have pets? Do we have the database, yes or no? And do we have a revenue coming out of the database? Because there's a lot of effort you need to put, because what are the effort what you need to put? One, can we service across a particular location, yes or no? Are the driver partners who are riding the car okay to have a pet inside the car? Are they comfortable, yes or no? And what is called as a pet? A lion can be called as a pet, a snake can be called as a pet. What is the meaning of pet? And we have to define what is pet. And we have to give certain compliance rules that you need to bring a towel, or you need to have a dog mouth trap, they call it as a dog mouth trap, right? You need to have that positioned, only then you can bring in. We had all those protocols. And then what? Transparency to people across. You have to deliver this information transparently to customers so that they don't bring any other pets in the car, right? And then it's very complicated. Then you have to go back and talk and convince the customer. So there are so many combinations which are involved, and that to work with tech integration. And is this not bringing in revenue? Yes, of course it is bringing in revenue. But again, if you can't operationally integrate tech with the operational effectiveness in the ground reality, then this will not bring in revenue. This will only bring in heavy cost. It's not going to give you results. So after a few days, we realized that our pet project, whatever we thought was making more sense to us from an overall standpoint, from an overall customer requirement, did not seem appropriate. So there was a mistake in the way we challenged our campaign. And then we had to say that, okay, let's go a little slow. Let's not be over aggressive in our thought. And we have developed the product, fine. We have developed the tech solution, fine. We are operationally efficient, fine. But I don't think the revenue is really, the ROI, what you're expected to get for all the cost what we've incurred in doing this combination is really going right. So I think the RAT concept is something, just to summarize, RAT concept is something what you have to invest at every single layer, at every single funnel of your organization to get things right. So if you can do that, then I think you are pretty good at your job.
Thanks, Priya. I think that's very well articulated. Everyone will remember rats. Saurabh, just to ask you, you've built Martech ecosystems for large organizations. So what are the mistakes most of these organizations make? And considering there are a lot of sales folks also here, so what are the perils of over-reliance on tools?
It's a great question, right? And given that there are a lot of marketers present in the room, I would say one of the biggest mistake, right, that the companies do, they over reliance on the tool rather than on the people, right? Companies have lot of tools. I mean, on a general company have like 10 to 15 Martech tools, right? But the fact is that even sometimes people do not know that they have the tool, right? And the second time, people are not even aware or educated about those tools. So what happens? Either they outsource those services, right? Then the expectations are not met, and then they go and find another tool.
You're benefiting from outsourced work, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, if you switch the tool, right, it also comes to us, right? Because it's a feedback, right? It's like a karma, right? So that's first thing, right? Second thing, obviously, a lot of people have talked about data unification, right? We talk about, we need to bring the data into one place, right? But when you go and, when you start the exercise of bringing the data into one place, then there are multiple stakeholders, right? It's not a single person job. It's a multidisciplinary function approach that need to be exercised to just bring the data into one place. You need to align stakeholders because everyone become the stakeholder of their data, right? And no one wants to share their data, even in the same organization. Call center may not want to share the data, then the CRM team will not share the data, marketing team will not share the data, right? They become data custodians rather than being working as a cross-functional member.
Even at our organization, like right now, we are debating about having
Yeah.
a data council because there is less multi-stakeholder ownership. So maybe sometimes only marketing or one or the other person ends up owning. So I think this is a brilliant idea, having a data council,
Yeah.
and so that more people are sharing accountability. With this, I just want to ask a very common question, and I think any one of you can answer. Like, I'm sure all of you have worked on multiple Martech projects, and I don't want to discuss successes. I think we all know a lot of successes. Let's discuss failures. Like, which project had a huge disproportionate impact on metrics, and failure you would want others to learn from? So anyone can start with. Let's not pat our backs, huh?
Okay. So, I mean, obviously there have been a couple of failures, like I mentioned. So basically, there is a company, I would not name it, right? So they had the tool.
Not us, right?
Not you, obviously. You are right. So they had the tool. I mean, it's a very big organization in India, right? They had the tool, right? They came to us, okay, we want to implement it and everything else. We spent around 6 months, right? After 6 months, we identified that they are actually collecting the leads in the spreadsheet, and it's a big MNC, right? Nobody in the company knew that where the data is being flown, right? They have outsourced LMS, they have outsourced CRM, there is outsourced call center teams, right? So no one knew where the data is being stored, right? And we were actually, basically pitching them the predictive analytics lead scoring, right? Which users are likely to convert. And we were not able to do so because there is no flow of the data diagram that we could create. And we, spent like more than 6 months and we could not deliver it. Right? So yeah, that was, I think, one of the biggest failure that I had. And second, I would take an example of Dream11, right? So everyone uses Google Analytics, right? Everyone know about Dream11, right? So during IPL, people get crazy, right? During betting. And Google never thought that, their basically hit volume or user base will increase significantly. So at that point of time, it became world's largest client of Google. And when they were actually logging into the tool was not working, right? It was just showing 0. Imagine company like Dream11 who are actually, working on the real-time insights, logging the tool, paying for the premium tool, right? We were working with them, and they are not able to generate any insights during the whole IPL, right? And that's when GA4 was actually launched, way back in 2019. So those are the two.
I think a lot of GA non-believers in the room. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Priya, I think you wanted to share one of your stories.
So there is a telecom company I work for, and I was in one of the transformational projects, and we were just trying to understand that, you have a lot of annual subscribers who actually are there in the system, and they are prepaid, they are on a prepaid mode, right? They come in the month of January, they pay the entire year and they move off. Okay, so they are subscribed with you for the entire annual subscription. So there was a time when we realized that why is that the renewal is not happening intact for these annual subscription people? And nobody was able to understand what was going wrong. There was a very, very simple answer, but nobody could crack what was it that is really going wrong when it comes to a customer engagement strategy. And they made it as a huge transformational project. You know how, right? Meaning everybody from different departments come in, and then there is a session in the room, and then you calibrate the strategies around it, and you try to see, put a Pareto and see what all funneling can you do, and you pick up the top 20% and try to create a magic around it, right? There was nothing which was working. And then what we did is we formed a small team, and we said that let's do one thing. Let's go to the basics of engagement activity, just sit with agents and see what is happening or what is going wrong on annual renewals. The most stupidest thing what had happened was when you're creating an annual subscription and the customer wants to renew it and he calls up the contact center, because most of these customers used to call up the contact center because they only call you once in a year. They generally don't call you at all because they don't have any major issues. So when they called us, the agent was not empowered to reactivate their long duration pack, and the system is not enabled into a manner where the system could auto trigger a notification to the customer where the customer can make the payment online and the activation happens immediately and then the subscription happens. And that's when we felt that maybe this is the root cause of the problem. Why don't we try solutioning this? And when we tried solutioning this is when we got 50% jump in the annual renewal percentage, and it became a huge successful project, and it is known, we talk about it even today. At least when I talk to my ex-colleagues, we keep talking about this project and how stupidly we worked on 3 months trying to crack a problem. And then we realized the problem is at the ground reality. It is so simple and we had to just solve that problem. So it's all about cost, right? At the end of the day, the amount of time you invest, 3 months time we invested doing an R&D on it and trying to put all technology in place. But actual solution was at the ground level. And all that we had to do is plug that and get a 50% increase in revenue where it costed us nothing. It costed us 0%. Meaning it net offs to a 0% literally, because it's just one simple tech solution is what we had to do to get 50% jump in our revenues. So I think this is one thing which I feel where augmenting tech is good. Knowing the realities of integrations is good, but knowing your customer pain areas is double times more important than trying to build a tech solution. So know your customers is my conclusion on this. Yeah?
Yeah, that's a great point. With this, I'll come to my last question. Like with AI, personalization and predictive analytics becoming super important, what are the capabilities that brands and businesses like us should invest in? I'll want to start with you.
So what I would say over here is that the brands need to invest into creatives. Today we are talking about dynamic creative optimization, which is one of the most important feature that is there. So if we look at the right creative and we know that this creative is going to reach at the right person at the right time, that would help. So creative is the most important thing that helps. There are a lot of AI tools which helps, but yes, there are a lot of innovations that needs to be there, and those innovations can help the branders actually.
Any one of you?
I think the brand needs to focus on educating the team about the AI, right? Because there are a lot of tools in the market, right? There are a lot of models, right? You will not know that you will end up buying a model, right? Or buying a product, and there will be a computer product which is 1/10 of the cost. Why? Because that company has not, evaluated the AI model that they need to use, right? So I would say first thing that the brand need to invest in their people, right? It's not, like I always said about, it's not about the tool. It's about the people. If people are ready, if people are educated, whether it's AI, whether it's Martech, right, companies are going to be succeeded. And if people are not aware, right, no matter which kind of tool that you have in your arsenal, it's not going to succeed. So invest in people.
Varun, what's your view?
Yeah, so I think with AI, certain things have become difficult, certain things have become easier. So now what has become difficult is to catch hold of attention of the user, because there is so much content outside that we are not able to attract, or maybe Meta calls it thumb stopping creatives, to make people stop their thumb. So I was just, you might have seen the stat that came in 2019 that people are scrolling 300 feet every day on their phone. I was just curious now, because of the short video explosion, what has happened now? What is that stat? Now that's apparently 1200 feet every day. Now 1200 feet, if you're scrolling every day, then the catching attention of user is very difficult, and that's where I think AI comes into picture. You can create creatives at scale which are hyper personalized, and that can be more relevant for the user. So that's easier now. I mean, creating is easier, catching attention is difficult. And another thing that we have started doing at No Broker is that we have built a tool, like I mentioned, the enterprise tool that I was referring to. That's a tool that works with the contact centers, the call centers, and getting insights out of user conversations has become very easy. Earlier, the auditing and the contact center managers had to do it manually, listening to maybe hundreds of calls at max because of the human limitation. But we can do it at scale for thousands and millions of calls over the period of 1 year. And the insights that we are getting are really, important insights, or maybe some eye-opening insights, which can be leveraged in either creatives or maybe tweaking our strategy and business strategy also. So I would say these two, catching attention, design for the distracted audience, I would say, and use AI for your advantage for getting more insights out of users.
So with this, I think time's up. We've already got the buzzer. But thank you so much for being such a lovely audience and the panel. I think I learned a lot and a lot of stuff that I'm going to copy at work, right? I just want to summarize our top learnings. One is integration is paralyzed without innovation, but at the same point of time, we need to understand our consumers very well. Second, I think talent, I supremely agree with it. We do not have that great talent, and we need to nurture talent in-house specifically. A lot of people don't even know that CDP is different from an MMP, so I think these basics. And the third and the most important, when AI transformation projects need to be more strategic rather than tactical one-time fixes. I think with this, thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for your attention and time. Thanks.
Thank you so much to our entire panel for joining us. May we request you to please be with us on stage as we request the presence of Siddharth Shah, Director India and SARC Zendesk, and Siddharth Gupta, General Manager Marketing Britannia, to please join us on stage. You know, it's always great when you have the leader out here. Can we request Ms. Monica Khurana to do us the honor of helping us in felicitating all our key and eminent panelists on stage. Let's give Ms. Khurana a warm round of applause as we re-welcome her. And Monica, if you can request you to please start with Shivani. Shivani Tiwari, everyone. Let's give her a bigger round of applause. Thank you so much, Gandhar. May we request you to please join us in frame with Ms. Monica Khurana. Mr. Sajdeva, a great honor having you. Let's appreciate him with a warmer round of applause. Priya, thank you so much for joining us and giving us those key inputs. Truly invaluable having you today join us. Let's give Priya a warmer round of applause. May we now urge the welcome of Saurabh Agarwal. Thank you so much, Saurabh, for joining us, and may we request Monica in frame with Saurabh. And if you could now request Varun to please step forward, allow us an opportunity to give you a token of appreciation, Mr. Varun Kulkarni. Let's give Varun a warmer round of applause, everyone. And with this, if we may request all of you to come together for a group photograph, we just request all our eminent panelists along with Ms. Monica. Join us in the center, allow us an opportunity with the hashtag Data Unplugged moment right here.